So Tommy, you're now coming out of the court. What has happened?
Only accredited journalists, when they say accredited, only government-supported journalists were allowed to report on the second half of the trial, which means no one, I guess, out here, because you're not going to hear it from the mainstream media, because I've looked through the mainstream media's reporting on the case this morning. It's insane. It's fucking insane.
They're lying.
All the unlawful stuff they've done, all the illegal stuff they've done, and not one part of it has been reported on. It's mad. Which is the need for people like Ezra and other people who have flown over from Canada to come and report on this. Unfortunately, he's been gagged today from when we went back in. No one else other than the government control, which what is that? That's communism, no? Only government controlled media are allowed to report on what's going on inside the courtroom. And it's meant to be about fair and open justice for people to understand. The reason why we need citizen journalists is because these fucking frauds don't report. We've seen that by the reporting this morning. We've seen that. But an officer has accepted this afternoon, which you wouldn't have heard, that he held me unlawfully because he was supposed to have done certain things that he didn't do, and then there was 3 different things that he was lawfully had to do that he didn't do in order to detain me under Terrorism Act. It's not like we're stopping you for a quick check in your car. We're nicking you for terrorism. We're using terrorism legislation to detain you and pump around the whole world that you're being charged under the Terrorism Act. You better make sure your shit's in order. And none of it's in order. The reason for detaining me wasn't in order. They just made up as they went along. What we then found out is they made up stuff today that's not in their statements. Do you know how many times we've asked them for disclosure and they've refused it? So we've gone back saying, what did you do for an hour and a half? Because they detained me, there was a 40-minute gap, then there's another hour and a half gap. What were you doing in that time? From stopping me originally, what was going on? We know what was going on. It was going up the ladder to the top, yeah? And they were making decisions. But they didn't make any notice, and even though we asked them, what were you doing? They refused to answer. And then today, we were taking information from other organisations. Well, we've asked you that multiple times. You have to give us disclosure, which they haven't given. They didn't give. So now there's been another application to make the judge aware. We've asked all this information, then they've brought shit up today in court where there's no evidence of it. There's no paperwork trail, there's no email trail, there's nothing. And then he started making up, do you know what his reason was? Islamophobia. Islamophobia. What even is Islamophobia? They're taking it from the Labour government's Islamophobia bill. You talk about Islam, we're going to nick you under terrorism. That's it. Anyway.
And back tomorrow.
And back tomorrow for the verdict. Let's hope the judge gives us something to have a bit more faith in judges in the UK for. Last time I was in this court, I got a positive result from a judge. I wish I was tried by a jury, but I think after the judge listening to that absolute facade of a shit show of legal corruption and bullshit from a police force which detained someone under the Terrorism Act within 30 seconds of seeing who I was. And then they've tried to make up and wrote statements 6 months later, 9 months later.